Andrew Wiggins, it's been reported, sort of, may miss the rest of the season, including the playoffs, attending to a personal matter. We do not know what it is. We do not know what it. No one's, spoken about what the personal matter is. I think that's fine. Like, I don't care why Andrew Wiggins is missing games if he thinks he needs to, right? Like, this isn't. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe it's like if it's something ridiculous, like whatever. But still, you don't want to throw the guy under the bus. But this is big news to me because the Golden State Warriors are defending champions, and there was a lot of like weird people that were like, Andrew Wiggins, like should he have won Finals MVP or like he would have finished second in Finals MVP voting? I always hate that. Like come on, like no, someone on the Celtics probably should have finished second. But point being, he's a very good player. James, if Wiggins doesn't come back, like I'm not gonna say are the Warriors fucked, but in another sense, James, if Andrew Wiggins doesn't come back, are the Warriors fucked?
Yes, I think so because they were effectively fucked anyway. Like this team is not that great this year. I understand the idea that they could, turn it up for the playoffs, but like that's just a bad gamble, Like you'd rather be playing well going into the playoffs. Usually teams that make deep runs are already heated up to some extent. And it's
Yeah,
just not their year man. And if they're not at full strength, then it's definitely not their year. Like this guy's become a really key part of their rotation. They have to play lineups now that lack that 3-and-D presence. Klay Thompson's not the defender that he used to be. A Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson lineup is like kind of food at this point. And he's really instrumental. They don't have a 3-and-D, in his absence, really. Like Gary Payton the third is more on the D than the three. And I can't remember. Like, I guess he's out right now, but he's supposed to be back for the playoffs, I think. But you can't be sure that he's gonna be
be the same
himself
guy.
anyway, right? And even then, he's not Andrew Wiggins. So like, yeah, no, they're in a lot of trouble, man. I think.
Yeah, and it's not just the 3-and-D that's important. It's like he's even better at this than Klay Thompson in my mind. It's like at the end of a possession, he's the only other guy outside of Poole and Curry. And ideally, you don't want to be playing Poole and Curry and Thompson together too many minutes. He's the only guy that like you can just like kind of give with 6 seconds left and be like, okay, like I know you're gonna get a mid-range jumper probably, but you're okay enough at them, and it'll be a clean enough look that like this, considering we have 6 seconds left and we haven't gotten anything good, is decent offense, right? Like,
Yeah,
and there is a ton of value in that. I went to
especially
PB,
in the playoffs.
especially in the playoffs where teams ratchet it up. One thing I do hate is the oh they'll just turn it on. It's like, look, man, there have been teams that have turned it on, but they haven't been fucking 500 all season. Like they're like the team that turned it on were those Lakers teams that didn't win 60 plus games, or they're still like a 50 plus win team, or the some of those LeBron Cavs teams. Like they turned up the defense, but they were still an elite offense all season, right? Like the will turn it on. Like here's the thing. Warriors need to be winning games. They like
Yeah,
the shit is turned on right now, and this is what you're seeing. They're like, they can beat the Rockets on the road, and that's it. Before we get off this, I have some stats from PBB stats on off splits. All right. So first, this is just Andrew Wiggins on the court, Andrew Wiggins off the court. When Wiggins is on the court for the Warriors, a plus 4.9 net rating. I think this season that'd be almost the best in the league, just because no team has been absolutely dominant. 117.97 offensive rating, very good. 113.08 defensive rating, that's below league. I mean, that's above league average. So positive defense, positive offense. All right, that's just with him on and off, right? When he's off, negative 2.12 net rating. So we're talking about a 7 point swing in net rating just when he's on and off the court this season. But I think this is actually the on off stuff that's the most important. You're talking about those lineups, right? This 4-man lineup of Curry, Thompson, Draymond, and Wiggins. I think we can agree that's the four you want on the court, no matter what, when it's go time. Gives you the best offensive and defensive ceiling that you're gonna get. With those four players on, net rating 10.7, 122.5 offensive rating, 111.8 defensive rating. That's like maybe the best lineup in the league. 4-man lineup in the league, one of the best 4-man lineups in the league. You just drop Wiggins from that equation. It's only 370 minutes. You just drop Wiggins from that equation, but they still got the holy trinity of Curry, Clay, and Draymond. That 3-man group when they're on the court without Wiggins, negative 2.23 net rating. Offense drops to 118.8. Still good, still very good. But the defensive rating explodes. And by explodes, I mean blows up to become horrible to 121.03. That's plus 10. They're giving up
I think
10.
implodes. Implodes was the words you're looking
Implodes,
for there.
explodes. There's lots of plodes in here. Okay. I mean, like, that is fucking insane. Those three guys are the basis of what, 4 championship teams. But when Andrew Wiggins is on the court, elite defense. When he's off the court, they might as well be the Houston Rockets with Alperen Şengün, Deshaun Nix, and Boban and fucking Eric Gordon out there at one point during the season, right? Like that's like the worst defense in the league.
Dude, but it kind of makes sense. They don't have a proxy replacement for Wiggins, right? Like if they still had a healthy Otto Porter Jr., for example, they would likely dip, but they would be able to function the same way. They could plug him in, and you could just tell him, we need you to just do what Wiggins does. We know you can't do it as well, but like there's a proxy replacement. But Clay, I don't think you can really lean on him at the 3 anymore to be like a 3-and-D type of guy, He's lost a step, and Dre's probably lost a step even on defense by now, So
and there's that cascading effect.
That's the best way to put it, exactly. And at the end of the day, that's what, like, to go back to the original question, yeah, they're pretty boned without an Andrew Wiggins fan. Like this is a guy that is really important to their rotation right now. Jordan, baby.
Dude, when I was looking up these numbers, it literally blew my mind. I was like, okay, wait. So are you telling me Andrew Wiggins is the best basketball player in the NBA? Like, he's obviously not, because those other guys I think are like better individually. But it is crazy how what you're asked to do for a team is almost as important as what you can do for a team, right? And I think like, when what you can do and what you're asked to do align really well, good things happen. It's when, those things get kind of out of whack that problems happen. So this is going to be our third topic, but I'm moving up to one because we're just talking about it. We're going to talk about the wild, wild west between 6 and 13. I think it's really 6 and 12 now. I think the Portland Trailblazers wasting literally one of the best offensive seasons in recent memory from Damian Lillard, probably his best offensive season. They're wasting. I think they're out of the picture. So I'm just going to pull up the standings. And what James and I are going to do is we're going to keep this short, sweet, and simple. We're going to say who we think gets the 6th seed, gets out of the dreaded play-in. And then we're going to talk about, of these teams, if they were to make it, which one we would have the highest confidence in winning a first-round series. I wouldn't probably pick any of them because, well, they're kind of mid. But some of these teams have more playoff upside, I think. Okay, so we might have to start with, honestly, we might have to start with 4 because the Phoenix Suns have a 2.5 game cushion over 7. All right. And then the Utah Jazz, who are in 10th, are a game behind the Warriors in 6th. The Lakers are a game and a half behind the Warriors in 11th. And the Pelicans are 2 games behind the Warriors in 6th, who are in 6th, and Pelicans are 12th. Okay, so we're looking at the Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder, Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Lakers, New Orleans Pelicans, separated by 4 games. I think we can safely assume that the Suns are safe. I don't think we need to talk about them. They're a good team. There's too many teams there, and there's not enough time, I think, for them to really fumble the bag, right? So let's just pretend. I think the Suns, are they going to get the 4 seed? I don't know, but I think they're not going to fall into that 7 category, and I think they'll be safe from 6. James, do you think the Clippers, with a game and a half lead on Golden State, you think they're also safe?
I want to say reasonably safe because, like, all of these teams are just in different, like, in disrepair in different ways, and I like, dude, like when I look 6 through 11, I'm like, I have a good reason why I don't believe in every team, like, whereas the Clippers, I'm like, as long as they can stay reasonably healthy, I think that they're a pretty good team. So I'd say they're safe enough. Not safe, but safe enough.
I tend to agree that I think they're safe just in that they have Kawhi Leonard, who's been fucking awesome. I think since I don't know how long he's been awesome, but like since the new year, he's definitely been back to being the Kawhi we remember pre-injury. All right, so let's start with 6. Golden State Warriors have a half game lead over the Dallas Mavericks. That lead can evaporate if the Mavericks win their next game because they have just +1 in the win column. All right. So of these teams, which one are you most confident in getting the 6th seed? I know the Warriors are right there already, which gives them the edge. If you want to, stay that's fine. But which one of these teams are you most confident can get the 6th seed?
Between 6 and 11, we're talking now.
I mean, 6 and 12. I think the Pelicans kind of might
12,
be.
that's right. 12.
Yeah, I
No,
think
that's right. Yeah.
they're 2 games back. They're 4 and 6 in their last 10. Like the Pelicans might just be toast for the 6th seed, but like they could do it. Like if they win a bunch of games, that they go like 8-2 over their last 10, like they could definitely get there.
It's funny, man. Having said everything that we just said, I still have to go with the Warriors. I think just because, man, it's a flawed group of teams down the line,
Yeah.
And they got that championship experience to lean on a little bit, and like, they just got guys that know how to get it done in that situation. Like I'm talking about intangible stuff here, but I think that with such narrow margins, it's going to come down to that intangible stuff, right? Now, if you ask me who the team I'm the second most confident in is, you get a more interesting answer.
Okay, well, who are you second most confident in?
Give me the Thunder, baby.
Fuck yes, I love it.
Yeah, I like the Thunder over a lot of these teams, man. Let me tell you, well, first of all, I just hate the way the Timberwolves are built. I've said that all year. I said that from the moment they made the trade, and I just think that team stinks. Like I just think you can't run that Twin Towers look. It's atrocious, and
Well,
I
they
hate it.
haven't. They basically haven't run it this season.
How do you mean?
I mean, Cat's been out since
Oh,
like
right, yeah, that's
December,
right.
right? Like, and Anthony Edwards is now out with a sprained ankle. So, I mean, I wouldn't be confident in them just because their 2 best players are are fucking injured.
When are they each due back?
Cat's been he's getting close, and when someone's getting close, but there's not a number, and then a unit of how many of sun rotations, that normally means they're not that close. And
Yeah,
then Edwards, the sprained ankle, I think is probably closer to a day to day type of thing. And if they're in the mix, he'll probably play on it, even if it's not 100%. But I mean, it just, if you don't have your best player, I mean, some people say Edwards is better than Cat, but like if you don't have your best player, Cat's really fucking good, all pretty much for the vast majority of the season. Finishing with a 500-ish record to me isn't like a disaster. It's just, I
no,
think we both agree that like when he comes back, like it's not going to just like be like, oh, he's back and like things are good now. It's like, oh, he's back and now we have to figure out like, do him and Rudy Gobert work?
yeah, like we still have this team that, in my opinion, does not work. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good. That's a good point. Yeah, that's right, exactly. So then, so I like the Thunder by process of elimination, really, because then the Jazz, like the Jazz, are a fun, well-rounded team with good players, but they just don't have a top-end talent like STA, And I just feel like I put more stock in STA surrounded by strong young defenders than I do in Lauri Markkanen with like decent veterans. Like I think that's a safer bet to me. SGA is like by far the best player between these two teams. And then with the Lakers, LeBron is out and it's not looking all that optimistic. And without LeBron, it's like AD and D'Angelo Russell. I just don't really have a whole lot of faith in that either, man. You know,
yeah.
right? And then the Pelicans, I don't know. They're just probably the weakest team of the bunch.
I mean, they don't have Zion. Really, at this stage, I'm just like, you have to think like, whose best player or best players are healthiest? It's not the Pelicans. It's not the Lakers. You could say the Jazz have that, but also I believe Jordan Clarkson's out. So like, they're missing stuff, and they traded off good players this season as it is, right? So like they got worse as the season went on, just from a talent standpoint. Timberwolves don't have Cat. Mavericks right now don't have Luca. So for me, I actually think the team is going to get 6 because I think it's going to be the Mavericks. If they win their next game, they're tied with Golden State in record, right? Golden State, I think what do they have like 2 or 3 road victories over the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
two
is
or
it
three.
2 or 3, right? So they're 8-29 away, right? I think like almost half their games are on the road. Like to me, Golden State can't get out of the 500 range. Like I just don't because they're split half and half. So if they go 2-3 over their like next 5 road games, they'll get the 6th seed. The problem is they haven't fucking gone like 2-3 over 5 road games all season. Shit, they barely go 1-4, right? So
I guess that's my. I am just betting that Curry and Clay and Dre are gonna will that to happen. But it's fair enough point. Sorry to interrupt you there, but let me get to Dallas because I meant to touch on Dallas and I didn't. I feel like Dallas really need to retain Kyrie Irving this year because they sort of gutted the team to get him. And it sounds funny to say that because they didn't give up a lot of players, but they gave up one of their only good role players in Dorian Finney-Smith. Like all year, this roster was Luka and a bunch of like not very good stuff, and now it's Luka and Kyrie and even less good stuff, you know. And I feel like they badly need an offseason to flesh out the roster. And what I see right now is kind of an unfinished product. Like there's just so many guys in this rotation that I'm like, if you guys are trying to win a championship or even really like 2 playoff series, is that guy should be in
one,
the rotation. That guy shouldn't be in the rotation. Yeah,
one playoffs.
exactly.
If you're trying to make the playoffs, like
Yeah,
this guy shouldn't be in the rotation.
Christian Wood, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah, talk. Talk about a weird situation with Wood. I actually don't want to talk about that because we both knew what
you can
was
all
up.
get angry.
We just both knew that he's Christian Wood. Like
Yeah,
all of the offensive stuff that you watch and you're like, this is good. You then like all the coaches go, this guy fucking sucks at defense. This guy has tunnel vision. This guy can't pass. This guy, when he's out there, is like, he's like, he thinks he's he's 1A next to Luca 1B, right? Like it's just there's all these other things. But yeah, I'm just picking the Mavericks because I think Luca's about to be back soon.
yeah.
I think Luke is the best player of this bunch. I think SGA is the second best, and I love that. I love that. Or actually, no, I think SGA is the third best behind Curry. Um, and then SGA's third, and he's awesome. And frankly, I would love to see the Thunder make the playoffs. And get that 6th seed. One, keeps them out of the lottery. Two, right? Like, look, I love SGA. I've been a big SGA is a superstar. Like people were like, oh, he's having a superstar season. I'm like, he's been a superstar, all star, all NBA caliber player for a while now. It's just he's done in Oklahoma City and he missed some time. Great player. I'd love to see him in the playoffs. That Jalen Williams kid, the good one or the better one, that Jalen Williams rookie for him. He's great. Yeah, I know the Mavericks have sucked with Luka and Kyrie, but at some point, you think, I think their upside is the highest. If those guys, if something just clicks, their upside over these last 10, 12 games, I think is the highest where they can score at a rate that maybe no one else in the league can even match. And I think they're going to get it. I think, honestly, Luca having some time off to rest his quad, he'll come back. He'll be even better than he was kind of pre injury because I think he was struggling a little bit. Just massive burden. Give him a little rest before the stretch run. I'm going with them to get that 6th seed because one, I just don't believe in the Warriors. I just don't believe in a team that literally can only beat the worst teams in the league on the road is going to get the 6th seed. Like it just I can't go that far because road victories are important.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Mavericks are a totally reasonable choice. It's one of those two, I think, realistically. But yeah, let's move forward.
Okay. Final bit of this congested clusterfuck of mediocrity. Can any of these teams win a first round playoff series? Like realistically. Like I'm not saying like obviously can, yes, can. It's within the realm of possibility. But do you have confidence? Any confidence? I'm not talking about a lot of confidence. Any confidence that they can win a first round playoff series against it would either be maybe the Kings, the Grizzlies, probably be the Kings or the Grizzlies at this point. Or the Nuggets, whoever gets the 8th seed.
Well, I would say this: if the Warriors get Wiggins back, or if the Lakers get LeBron back fully functional, then I could see either of those teams beating the Kings for sure. Uh, Other than that, no.
Yeah. If I had to rank who could win a first round playoff series out of this group, if I mean, and here's the thing, I just think even if LeBron comes back, he's not going to be fully healthy and ready to go, just because the nature of those types of foot injuries, like they just take a while to like get back. I would probably go with the Warriors because they're amazing at home and all they need to do is win 1 of 4 on the road. If like they can pull off one road victory, so I'd go with the Warriors 1, the Thunder 2, because I think SGA has the capability to completely just take over a series, and their defense is good, right? Where it could just be kind of like what we saw with the Mavericks last year, where it's like Luka just does the absolute heaviest lifting on offense. A few guys get hot from 3 point range, and the defense is good. Then I would go with the Mavericks third because Luka and Kyrie, two guys that can win you a game whenever, win you a series in Luka's case. And then four would be the Lakers. I love AD. I love LeBron. I like the moves they made. I just think, I mean, AD can like is AD's not fully healthy. D'Angelo Russell sprained his ankle. He's coming back. He won't be fully healthy. LeBron's not probably going to be fully healthy. It's just like there's too many. Can they sustain excellence over a 7 game series? I'm saying no, they can't.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good. The Thunder. The only thing I would say to that as a counter argument is like I just don't know if they're going to have the firepower to outscore the Kings over 7 games. You know, like I think the Kings are sort of paper tigers. I think they're going to get exposed in the playoffs. I think that Sabonis is a problem because I just don't like slow-footed bigs, as I've said many times. And I have a feeling he gets played off the floor. I don't think the Thunder can play him off the floor though, you know. So I would be skeptical about that, but time will tell.
The main reason to be skeptical about the Kings, in my opinion, is their clutch time numbers and De'Aaron Fox's clutch time numbers are just so absurdly good. Where even if you're like, this dude is clutch, he's got the clutch gene. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing: no one is genetically this clutch, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like they're outperforming a lot of stuff in a way that I would be concerned about. Okay,